I feel like I should stop saying things that might possibly irritate me in an episode so that they won't happen. Because damn it happened! You sons of bitches just dark faded this, and I hate it!
Time travel, am I right?
Ah! I saw him walking through, and I'm like, that's past Loki. I'm like, you sons of bitches, Loki has a pruner. If you do the stupid fucking thing you're about to do, ah! Anyway, so
Before we get there, because there's still a whole bunch of episode that happens before even that moment.
There is. We're in the future, past the future, a lot faster than I expected us to be, give or take the fact that we have, 2 episodes left after this. I thought we weren't going to get to this moment until like the ending 20 minutes of episode 6.
Now I understand why critics were given the first 4 episodes of the season, and only the first 4 episodes.
Suppose that makes sense. I didn't know that happened. But, so we find out there's a recording of earlier in the show, we found out there's a recording of Renslayer in the past talking with He Who Remains about being her second in command and all that fun stuff. So we then find out the thing that's going to piss her off is that you got your memory wiped, but also you were the most important on the planet before you got your memory wiped.
Yeah.
You were the side bitch that he didn't want anymore.
You're not wrong.
That's what it is. He's like, I don't want to deal with you or the other women in my life. Bye. Delete my number. Left you on red.
Good Lord.
That's so what it is. We found out that, like, the TVA helped him win the multiversal war that we kind of barely even know what that means. And that cool. We have the TVA now. Everything is in place.
Oh,
we're all happy. Literally nothing is wrong. But I'm still a dickhead, though. Boom! Press the button. I created my own downfall because I'm a dickhead. Woo!
Not to dive too deeply into celebrities' personal lives or public drama, but I believe his court date is, well, delayed actually, but
of course. I just hope it turns out that a lot of this was a load of balupka and like nothing actually happened. A, because then a woman didn't get abused, and B, that he's a good person. I don't want either of them to have happened because it's either neither of them happened or both of them happened.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get an option C where I got punched by a ghost and oh no, I hate Jonathan Majors. Yeah, so
on the positive side, what is fun is the parallel geek out moments that Victor Timely and Obi had with each other.
Obi had, and I love that they had to literally sneak in an actual Ouroboros reference.
They had to.
The infinite, it's like a snake eating its own tail. As they look at the camera and wink. But yeah, that him and OB freaking out over the I learned from this guy Vic. What'd you say your name was? So then I was like, y'all sons of bitches better refer to the fact that makes no sense. And they're like, wait, then which one of you, okay, thank you, you're realizing that you just created a time paradox, but it doesn't matter anymore because he's not a paradox anymore.
Yep.
So I had to create I have to put lines through half of my notes because a lot of them was going to be, hey, blank is in the buppita, hoop is in the hoopity, because we're just past all that. So it's not like those events are going to be happening soon. They already are happening and did. But so anyway, what's her name?
Sylvie?
Nope, not Sylvie.
Docs. Docs.
And all of her people are held hostage. And so we get this whole thing where they are being held hostage. And they're like, hey, help us or do whatever. Docs, you're not a moron. You care. You just got told the wrong way to care. And we find out that Docs is actually generally a good person. And that Renslayer's a fucking psycho.
Yes, she is.
The He Who Remains pulled the good move because he got rid of that girl before she showed her true intention.
Yeah.
You know, the best kind of villain is the one you can relate
to. And then there's Brad, this asshole, who, just because he wanted to be an actor, turned on everyone.
And here's the best part. He wanted to be an actor. You know what he's acting like? A moron. Because you know what they could do if all this got sorted and the good guys won? Go back to being a fucking actor.
Oh my god. This episode is
like, what do they gain? All of them want people to live their own lives on the fucking on the lines. And then Brad's going, I don't want you to tell me to do what I'm doing when I want to do it. I'm going to tell me to do it, not when it's safer. I'm Brad. I make my own decisions. I'm an independent, dumb white man.
God, this episode hits way harder than it probably should.
It's like, Brad, you're fucking stupid. Give me what I want. We're going to. Now! No, in 5 minutes, so the world doesn't explode and you can keep doing what you want to do. But no.
and here's the worst part. He knows what that torture's like. He's been through it.
He's been through it. He's just like, yeah, they were psychos when they did that to me. Yeah, I'm gonna look sad after it's done to you because I'm remorseful.
Piss off.
Okay, actual dickhead Rossiu. but he's the only character. All of them have their own motivations and they're weird. He's the only one, and they're writing him to be this way, so it makes sense. It's not like it's a writing mistake. He's just this dumb of a person. He's just like, Dad told me my life was fake, so I'm going to go live a different life. And Mom said I could, but I still want Dad to be right.
He's acting out basically like what you described, a rebellious teenager, but
that's all he is. Brad, hear me out, guy. My parents were divorced since I've been in 3rd grade. Trust me, I know your pain. Mama Renslayer wasn't there when Dad got killed, and now you're mad and you're going through a phase. Except they got divorced when you were 32. And you have no reason to be this resentful. Your life is done. You had a good childhood.
I
These
can't.
Are people that man, I had childhood trauma. My mom said I couldn't go visit my friend on his birthday once. Fuck you. Anyway, enough of ripping on Brad. For now, because he didn't die.
Yes. We
For
will
now.
We will probably see more.
That dumbass is still walking around with a pruning stick. Why they didn't tell him to prune himself after he pruned Renslayer, Cause plot, we have 2 more episodes. Anyway, so all of them are just dead. We literally have, I don't know what happened to everybody else who's working at the TVA. They're just somewhere else. The only one who's probably still there, and I don't mean this in a mean way, I can't remember her name, is the girl who was in the wheelchair because they probably didn't care enough to run away from her.
Yeah, don't feel bad. I don't remember her name either. But
I don't remember her name. I don't know if her name was spoken.
Probably not.
But she was like, yeah, let's get a hold of them. The one only person trying to fix the TVA is her. And she's just like, yeah, but we need her along with it. So she's like actually playing both sides, a real important character. And like, we have 4 characters. We have less than like 7 characters actively left. Because Miss Minutes isn't even there anymore.
Yep, because all the power has been rebooted.
That was my favorite thing. My pop off moment of the episode was we can't do that because then if we do that, we also have to set off the protection barrier. He's like, what's that? And as Loki and Sylvie are listening, they're like, if you take off the protection centers that prevents people from using magic in the TVA, turn it off.
Love
the
that
one
moment.
thing that will give us the biggest advantage on the planet over everyone we're fighting with, turn it off.
That was a great moment.
I'm just like, no shit, Sherlock. We can solve all of the problems now. But here's the thing I have to address. Because damn it, I hate Terminator for starting this shit. And the last Terminator was the worst example of it. In Terminator Dark Fate, they send back the Rev 6. The stupidest thing ever, because they never even talking about making Rev 1 through 5. And it just had to be something that sounded cooler than a T-1000. But they send the thing back. I don't remember the name of the company that made it, but I don't think it was Cyberdyne, and I don't think it was what's the Skynet. Neither of those made it. I believe it was a brand new company that was made in the later movies. I can't remember what it's called, but I don't give a shit about the last Terminator movies because they're god awful. But anyway, in the last one, you can check in our review. It's probably the most upset I was in the early starts of doing reviews for this channel, that they leave, oh man. The Rev 6 is what came after them. And then I don't remember what the designation was for the thing that got left to protect the freedom fighter that went on to go forward. Anyway, not important. They have the fight at I want to say it's Hoover Dam.
I think so.
But anyway, they have this fight.
By the way, it's Rev 9, not the Rev 6.
Rev 9. I'm sorry, that makes it worse. They didn't do 1 through 8. But anyway, the Rev 9 and her get left in the rubble. I believe both of them do. It could be just her, or it could be just the Rev 9. But then the company in the future that makes the Rev 9 only exists because they found the rubble of the fucking Terminator that they sent back in time that they already made in the future, so they could not have been made unless they already existed, sending their shit back in the past. It makes no damn sense. It's a paradox, and so is Loki fucking pruning himself! I hate when time travel shows do this. When you go back and you make a change and then the whole forward timeline changes. That's fine. That timeline was already happening and Loki made it there without you fucking pruning him, according to this. Because they already went and made it past it. Because according to this, the previous timeline Loki had to get pruned in order for the current timeline Loki to prune the past time Loki. Because otherwise, they never would have made it through the process that shot Mobius back and like temporarily fixed the timeline.
And you know what this means as a result of all this? Everything is back to square one-ish.
Kinda. I'm sorry I went on a rampage. I like time travel movies. I hate when they make it so they can only happen because the movie happened already. It's such an easy thing to avoid. Just don't write it. You have to force that timeline, that plot point into something. You have to. There's no way where you think of time travel where we go, well, here's our current timeline. We're screwed. If we go back and change point B, everything spirals out of control and we can stop it from getting to there. Not it gets to there again because and only because I went back in time and changed something to make sure that happens. That's not how reality works. I don't care what form of time travel you have, whether it be Endgames or Back to the Futures. It doesn't fucking matter. That's not how it works.
Speaking of Back to the Future, I love the reference that Obi and Casey made when they were showing they were showing the demonstration of the temporal loom, and they're like, "Oh, please excuse the the crudeness. It's like it's not up to scale." That's a paraphrase of what Doc Brown said when he showed Marty the model of the DeLorean going back in time.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. I didn't catch that. It's been a hot minute since I've seen the Back to the Future movies.
It's one of my favorite movies, so I of course recognize it immediately.
Oh, I figured it was. I know it's one of your favorites. That's why it's in the intro of 0 Hour. But anyway, so getting past that, so we get before Miss Minutes turns into an analog clock and fully disappears. She has one last thirsty moment. It goes, "You'll never be him," and he doesn't because he fucking dies.
Yep.
he made it 4 steps and poof, and molecularly decomposed.
Yep, just like that. But something I do like is that Miss Minute says, "You'll never be him." It cuts to the, the mural of all the.
That was amazing. That was a very good touch. And you want to know what? That was good because he doesn't want to be him. That was the one thing. He died before he could become him because he sacrificed himself to go. And he's like, had to be me. Someone else might have got it wrong. You don't know Mass Effect, so you're not going to catch that. But anybody else that has watched this has got this, which everyone who's been watching this, the scale of escalation and views in this is nuts. Thank you. I don't consider myself to be a particularly good reviewer. Mike is much better than I am, but thank you for listening to me ramble because I can really go off sometimes, like you saw in this video.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so, and then from what I can see, they aren't even going through the loom anymore. Just a beam of timelines are just bypassing it, or just the loom exploded. And then it just became a solid giant. It went from a couple of birch trees to a single oak. It looked like just coming through and heading back to the TVA.
If I had to guess, I don't think the loom is. I think the structure of the loom is just gone.
Yeah, because the weird part about it was they showed an explosion and then the beams started going all over. And I don't know if that's because the loom is done and they're not concentrating through that anymore. But here's the weird part. There were still multiple realities going through, and the multiple realities still existed before they got to the loom. I don't know what that means that the loom isn't there. Was the loom literally just sorting them? I don't know what the difference is because honestly, after the loom, they just were on a tree with branches. Before they got to the loom, it just looked like vines coming into, or spaghetti going into a strainer, and then just what's going to be the honest difference? And I mean this because I've been thinking about it. What's the honest difference now if they just don't have a loom to pass through?
That's honestly a good question.
There's still different timelines. What did the loom actually do? Other than in the first place, it was meant to only keep one timeline.
Maybe all it ever was designed to do was keep track of all the different timelines.
It could
be. But somehow it got twisted, probably through Renslayer, that no, we have to have a singular timeline.
Well, it could be that, but what I'm thinking is it was a tracking device also, but a tracking device that everything got fed into this thing, and this way, if more than one popped up, they knew instantly.
So now without it, it's basically the Wild Wild West.
It's the wild. You can have infinitum of them, which you're going to need to have either way, whether they fix the loom or not. Because guess what? We're going to have multiverses. We just had an interview with Sean Levy about how unbelievably easy it was to get guest cameos for this movie. There's been a lot of rumors about guest cameos, so guess what? Anything can fucking happen because Deadpool is MCU canon. And so's a bunch of stuff, according to Kevin Feige now.
Yep.
Pretty much everything other than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And boy, Colton, I'm sorry.
Oh, are we going to talk about the excerpt where Kevin Feige lists the 2 people he would never work with ever again?
Oh, wasn't it Joss Whedon
and Edward Norton?
Edward Norton, that's what it was. I love how I was like, Edward Norton understands. That is making me feel like the crap I heard about what he was trying to do on set seems a lot more valid. Because if, like, other people have done stupid stuff, but if he literally never wants to work with him ever again, if there's only 2 people on this list, Terrence Howard isn't on that list. He got straight up replaced. Just the same way Edward Norton did. And he's not against trying to work with Terrence Howard again.
Here's the difference. I think Terrence Howard, he got booted when Ike Perlmutter was still in control. And I think he wanted too much according to him.
I get that, but either way, then Terrence Howard went on to literally trash them for giving all of his money to Robert Downey Jr. He didn't exactly speak good about the studio. He went on and on and on for years about how they were terrible to him and replaced him. He would still work with him. What did Edward Norton do to make him say no? Joss Whedon, understand, that boat has sailed. You had to do something pretty serious to where, like, the one other guy that got straight up replaced had nothing mentioned. He had those 2 locked and loaded, ready to go in the chamber. They're at the top of his brain to never want to see in his life again. How much hell did he make for him on that movie?
Must have been a lot, because I've something else I heard from that excerpt is, Norton was not a team player. He was
he wanted to, like, straight up borderline direct a movie.
Yeah, he was already like rewriting several pages of the script. He basically wanted more control than I think Feige was willing to give up. And if we know anything about Feige, he likes to run a tight ship.
He does, and for the most part, works pretty well. Has there been some foibles along the way? Yes, because everyone's human. But Kevin still has someone that can tell him no. He has a boss. So, and again, that can also be a good thing and can also be a bad thing. So, yeah, it'll be... Also, keep that in mind when everyone's talking about the multiverse. We're probably not going to see the Incredible Hulk version of the Hulk.
Probably not.
Because, like, everyone else for that movie is back at this point. Like, didn't they say that Betty Ross was going to return in something?
I think she's in Captain America 4.
There's a Cap 4. It was Cap 4 or Armor Wars. I can't remember which one it was, but, like, literally everyone came back. Like, even the leader, the one villain that was so set up, it just went.
It's definitely Cap 4 because you've got Thunderbolt Ross in there and the leader in.
Oh, that's right. He's in that. You're 100% correct.
Yep.
Anyway, a small tangent there, but yeah, it's yeah, this is good. Other than, my God, everyone who ever, before you even think of time travel, wants there to be a written clause. I wanted there to be a written clause in the freaking writer's contract that you can never purposely create a time paradox just to create it. But even at this point, we are still going through all of this horse hockey with SAG-AFTRA, and apparently it was either 2,500 or 3,500 members signed a letter stating that we're just not going to sign a shit deal, so stop it. And they're like, weren't they supposed to meet yesterday?
I'm pretty sure they met yesterday, and
they're going to continue.
I heard they were also supposed to meet today as well. I have no idea. A, if that's true, and B, how these talks are going, because they also announced that Snow White is getting pushed back to 2025, and so is Pixar's Elio, and
they're blaming the SAG-AFTRA because we might have to cancel TV shows. Oh, God! Pay them, you stupid idiots. You have the labor law enforcement of California telling you you're morons.
Exactly.
How has it gotten to this point? You're still like, no. Trust me. If we're assholes to them for longer, they'll cave in and make sure we can treat them like shit for a lot longer. Trust me, it's a good idea.
And here's the best or worst part. The Animation Guild's contract expires in July.
And that's only going to be that much worse because, for all we know, with the way that animation is treated and the way that we're getting the VFX department at, I want to say it's just Marvel is unionizing, but we know how much that no one cares about animation anymore. You and Cameron literally do a podcast about it on the regular, try and do big up animation, and I love animation. But no one cares about it on an industry level. I do not mean no one that watches it cares. No one on the industry level gives two shits because they will not give it a chance. Despite the fact that I know that it is a regional thing and Americans had to wait on it, despite the fact that there are billions of dollars made each year at cons and conventions and all this stuff made from the fact that people our age and even older finally have good and readable access to anime, which is an animated medium. It makes ass bags of money each year. Why do you never see Japan complaining about the animation? Because they actually understand that it's a good medium that you can do cool shit in.
Although I will say working conditions in Japan are...
Well, that's Japan. That's not just Japanese animation. That is literally just Japan.
Fair.
I'm not even going to just try and slack that off. That country sucks for working conditions.
Absolutely.
Love their aesthetic culture. Hate the working conditions.
Absolutely.
Yes. But, and it's just, anyway, just get over the shit. Fix it. This is good. You can get actors back and make more good things when the quality is okay. If you need to be more supervised and whatever, do it. The fact that we have to work hard to get a contract for you to sign away that you can't put monster beans, and if any of you that watched the last episode showed that fucking hobgoblin that was in the stands of that sporting event that was on a Disney Plus premium price show, they could just replace them all with AI. It'll work out perfect. I don't know anything about creating stuff because I've never done it. Just do it. It'll be easier so I can go to the theater.
Studios, please, we're begging you. Just do the right thing.
Also, people that are morons. People deserve jobs. Not just replace them with AI so I can get my movies faster. Fuck off.
Exactly.
I hope life kicks you in the taint. Anyone that has ever even thought, no, those people that like get paid hot garbage. I work in the middle of Wisconsin as a line lead at a window factory, and I make more than 80% of SAG-AFTRA. Let that sink in. My rent or my mortgage is $400. I can happily pay mine. My entire 2 paychecks I get in a month can't even pay you the mortgage for a negative 1-bedroom apartment in Hollywood.
It's just ridiculous, man.
It is. But anyway, all right, Mike, let's get on out of here. Where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on various social media at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and that place at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, Podchaser, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. You can escape, so do we.
Yes, and you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mainly on Twitch and YouTube. And also, I guess, every now and then on a social media platform, formerly known as Twitter, which basically you're pretty much going to get the odd Kill la Kill and Gurlagon fan arts and updates on when I'm streaming. That's about it. So if you want an easy way to track me, that's it. But don't expect anything too exciting. All right, everyone. We'll see you all later. Bye.
Peace.